Hello everybody and welcome back to another Deep Ogre review. Today we are finally taking a look at the Marvel Legends Haslab Sentinel. This is the 50th review. This is what I've been building up for, and I wanted to wait until I did the 50th review on 500 subscribers. And we officially are at 500 subscribers as of recording this. Thank you guys so much. I cannot thank you enough. But really, to show my thanks, I am going to be taking a look at this huge, big, bad boy, along with Bastion and Lady Prime Sentinel. I know people have reviewed those two figures separately in the past. I will do them in the same video. So, without further ado, I will get into his accessories. So, before we take a look at Bastion, we're going to be taking a look at the female Prime Sentinel, and honestly, this one is my favorite. I think it's my favorite. I don't know why, I can't explain why. It's a very, very simplistic design. It reuses pretty much everything, except for a new torso and a new head, but I don't know what it is. I just love this thing a lot. Just the way it looks. Mine has an issue on the face. If you zoom in, you can see the lips are slightly off. Slightly off, which gives her kind of a meh kind of look. I don't know how else to explain it. It just kind of gives her a kind of not really nonchalant look, I guess. But you do have that metallic around the face. One eyebrow is raised, so it kind of gives the robot a little bit of personality. The pink for the eyes does look also amazing. It kind of like, it's a bright pink, but then it fades out to the center. It's kind of weird to explain. But then you have eyeliner, I guess. I didn't know robots needed eyeliner. But you have a beautiful dirty wash to the blonde hair. Very, very swept back. I feel like this would be a nice hair sculpt for a Sue Storm, if my camera would focus. There we go. And down you have nice metal kind of cybernetics for the neck, and then a brand new chest piece right here coming back, also in a metallic kind of pink. The rest of the body is just in a black suit. For some reason, she comes with grip hands, not fists or splayed out hands. Kind of weird, but I mean, she doesn't have anything to grip, so I don't know what she'd be gripping. I have no idea, but the detail on the rest of the body is good. It is just reuse. Don't know of what body, but it is reuse. For articulation, she can look up about that far, which is pretty good considering how much hair is on her back. She can look down about that far. And a little bit of tilt, I guess, I think. Swivel, whole 360. Arms, also full 360. They can go up pretty far, down to her sides. I already did that. Bicep swivel, single jointed knee, or elbow, but can go past 90. Wrist swivel, and a hinge side to side. Diaphragm joint. Leg can kick up about that far. Back, only about that far. Kick out, beautiful spread. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee, and foot can go down. It can go up, and you have ankle pivot, albeit a little tight. And for the other half of the Sentinels, more humanoid Sentinels, we have Bastion. And although I do like this guy, I don't know what it is. I like the female Prime Sentinel a little bit more. It's really bad having a black background, and both of these characters are wearing pretty much all black. But what can you do about it? There's not much you can, really. But for details, I think this guy looks absolutely fantastic. Very, very nice head sculpt, again with the kind of wash on the blonde hair. More angry, dark eyes. And again with that pink around there. Facial hair through a metal jaw. Dude, that's fucking awesome, honestly. Then very, very nice cybernetics. Like, extremely good detail for these for the neck the gold picked out right there. It's just absolutely amazing. You kind of have that bolt look to the jaw right there. Very reminiscent of the Sentinel, which we'll get to that later when we go over the Sentinel's details. Metallic pink right there for the chest overlay. Red for the triangle in the chest. It's kind of a softer plastic than the rest of the body. But as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a little bit of a stress mark right there on the abdomen. I guess I had pulled it back. You can see it when I pull it back right there. I don't know why it does that, but I'm kind of scared to articulate it. I think that's kind of why he's my least favorite. It's just because he's kind of stiff to articulate. He's kind of a stiff figure. But he does have that nice gold sashes on the side. Other than that, it's just regular old Spider UK body, right? This is a Spider UK body. I have no idea. I can't remember. But for accessories, this guy comes with an alternate head. So you can have a just male Prime Sentinel. And that head looks pretty good. Again, flesh tone, pink for the helmet, kind of like the female Prime Sentinel. And pink for the eyes. That's pretty much the gist of this guy. It's pretty much just an extra head. But for articulation, you'll obviously have a disc up at the head. He can look up that far, down that far, and not a lot of tilt. Arm can go out about that far, down about that far, bicep swivel, full 360. Also, again, it's on a ball joint. Arm, a little over 90 degrees for the double jointed elbows. Wrist, in, out. Mine is really, really rough on the detents. I don't know why. Previously mentioned ab crunch, can go back, can go forward. Waist swivel, leg can kick up pretty far. Back, not that far. Leg out, very not even as good as the Sentinel. Thigh swivel, double jointed knees, barely, sadly. Calf rotation, foot can go up, can go down, and ankle pivot. As for comparison, here they are next to the Transformers Studio Series 86 Cup and the Transformers Studio Series 86. Transformers Studio Series 86 Jazz. For other comparisons, here they are next to the Earthrise Netflix Soundwave and the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Trooper. And last but not least, here he is next to the X-Men something such and such Wolverine, and here they are next to the Movie Monster series Rodan. Overall, for these two, I'm going to give Bastion a 6.5 out of 10 and the Female Prime Sentinel a 7.5 out of 10. That's a whole point of difference. I don't know why. I just really love the Female Prime Sentinel. I guess it's the simplicity about it. I have honestly no idea. I really wish she came with some extra hands, because I really don't like that she's gripping something that doesn't exist all the time. For the Sentinel's accessories, first up I'm going to talk about the Master Mold head. And obviously this looks absolutely stunning to me. Obviously you have that nice pink, purple, separately sculpted into the pink. Then you have these knobs on top. Lines. Very, very good detail, even on the inside, which is a running theme with all of these heads. They have inside detail with wirings. But then the eyes look so good. Those look good. Darker gunmetal gray for the eye sockets, and then you have more of a humanoid face than the other Sentinels. More pronounced lips, a bigger nose, just more pronounced humanoid features on this guy, and it is the biggest and heaviest head. I will do a comparison of it. I shit you not. here it is next to the Transformers Studio Series 86 Cup. So, yeah, he's half of Cup, pretty much. I really love the gunmetal gray on this guy, especially with that red dot smack dab in the center. Big fan of the 90s cartoon, and really like the Sentinels and Master Mold in that series. So, yeah, very happy to have this option. As for the as for the next head, you have the Tri-Sentinel Head. Nice gunmetal right there. Eyes, pretty much, I think they all share the eye sculpt. Kind of a very oddly specific thing to be saying, but I think so. These ones share these right here. You have a gold one with braces, a slightly bronze one with 3 lasers in the mouth, gunmetal gray one with nothing in the mouth but wires. Not familiar with the Tri-Sentinel. I think it's supposed to have 3 arms. I've said that like 5 times in this video already, but, you know, whatever. But it does have a more bolted on crown, I guess, because you have these knobs right here all across the head. And it's the Tri-Sentinel Head. There's not much else to say. Pretty pink, pretty pink. I do love this metallic pink. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the Tri-Sentinel Head, and here he is next to Studio Series 86 Cup. And here is the Battle Damaged Head, which I will say is one of my favorites. Probably the nail in the coffin for me wanting to get this guy. Very nice blasted out eye look. They did a very good job. 3 lines, kind of like Wolverine's claws, crack right there on the eye. Looks like somebody ripped the jaw out or blasted it out, like Gambit threw something at it, or Colossus got up there and ripped it off. Even the brace has kind of like a torn look right there on the end of it. And there's some dents right by the eye and right up below it. Red wire right there. Ripped open on the top of this kind of frayed wire up there. Silver even inside of it. It looks so good. It looks kind of like a can. There's a crack right there. More scorches up there. And a crack. More dents. Big dent. Huge dent. Dent. Very nice dents. Dents. Even dents that you wouldn't be able to see. This is just kind of misshapen right here. And you can't really see that with the naked eye unless you have the lights on it. Same with back here. And then you have a scratch right here, and it kind of looks like a bullet because there's that kind of more dented look on the inside of the circle following that scratch line. Then I think that's just how it's supposed to look. Then you have this dent right there, scratch right there, scratch right there, and back to the front of the head. But mine does have like a scuff right there and right there. I don't really mind it. It's battle damaged. Duh. So I honestly don't really mind at all. And then also, I didn't notice this, have that and that. That is very, very nice attention to detail. And as with Master Mold, you have that wiring detail all up in there. It looks very, very nice. And for the battle damaged head, I didn't do comparisons, but I'll do those right after I get that. But for the battle damaged hand, not head, hand, very nice. Basically just the hand sculpt with new fingers and a new palm. Shattered palm, so you cannot put the tendrils in there. I think it has the same wrist joint, but one complaint I do have, very small complaint, no articulation. Barely swivel the thumb, but that's pretty much it you get for articulation. I wish these were fully articulated, but I understand why they didn't. It's kind of useless. It's battle damaged. The fuck? What? Why would you? Okay, yeah. I know why they didn't. But you can see like the tip of the thumb has been ripped off right there. All these fingers have been ripped off by various points. This kind of seared half of the joint off. This was ripped off from the joint. And this just got mangled. Half of the joint is gone. Half of it is still there. The pinky is intact, thankfully. God knows. God knows. But very, very nice sculpt. You have that vent detail right there, more of that metallic purple. Honestly, awesome accessory, awesome thing to have. You have that red kind of embedded in there to go with the regular hand. I honestly really love this. But here they are compared next to the Transformers Studio Series 86 Cup. Lastly, but not leastly, here are some of my favorite accessories. I say that about every accessory this guy comes with, but here are the Bendy Tentacles, and I love these so much because they can actually hold figures and shit. Like, I don't know why, but I'm feeling in the mood for 86 Cup, probably because that Buzzworthy one looks so much better. But you can just wrap it around any figure, and it holds. Even Colossus. I have some pictures of these tentacles actually being able to hold Colossus, and that is impressive. That is very, very impressive. And at the end, I'll show some of him holding Wolverine. So that it's absolutely amazing. And you can these are very malleable. You can bend them pretty much any direction you want. I mean, the sky's the limit with bendy wire, guys. Seriously, look at this shit. What even is this? I don't even fucking know. It looks like a snake. Not at all, but I'm gonna go with it. But obviously these are how they port into the hands, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, that's pretty much it for his accessories, and Bastion, and the Lady Prime Sentinel. So, yeah. See ya. I don't know why I'm saying see ya. Back to the Sentinel. So really all you need to do to just pop these on and off is kind of a tough thing to take the head off. It does kind of stretch the ball in there, but that's a huge ball right there with the LEDs in it. Then obviously just they're pretty hard to get on there. But when you get them on there, it is very, very nice looking. As you can see, great, great attention to detail right there. Absolutely amazing. Pictures are all on Instagram too. Pretty pictures. So if you want to check those out, those are all up. And on the battle damaged head, only one eye lights up. So that is very, very cool effect. But also to go with your battle damaged head, you have a battle damaged hand. Just pop that right out of its socket. Very snug fit. I like it. It's not too loose. Let's pop that bad boy on, and you have your battle damaged hand. Very nice sculpt. You have all those wires flying out. Very, very good. Cannot put a tendril in this because it has shattered, but oh well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the battle damage accessories on Haslab Sentinel. That is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. That's a very, very beautiful, beautiful set piece to me. As for the Master Mold head, again, this is a very hard to pop off head. Just shove it back a little bit. And if that happens to you, just gotta turn the neck. And I really hope that I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't. But for the Master Mold head, it's a very easy fit. And there is the beautiful, beautiful Master Mold head. I think, besides the regular Sentinel, this is my favorite head sculpt. But just because with it, you can get a lot more range than you can with the other heads. You look up about that far, down about that far, pretty good. He can look down on some mutants, and of course you have all sorts of rotation and tilt, all that good stuff, and that is how it lights up on Master Mold. So, yeah, looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. And for the last head sculpt, we have the Tri-Sentinel Head. Just pop that on. again, it's a little tighter, a little harder to get on. But once you get it on, it looks very, very good. You have that gold with the lasers in the mouth right there. And then you have a gunmetal gray head with just wires right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. A lot of people are complaining because you can't really rotate it, but I'm doing it perfectly fine, and it does light up nicely on each head. So that's a very big plus. And I know the Tri-Sentinel technically has 6 arms in the comics, but this is as good as you're gonna get. Unless you want to buy 3 of these and customize it. Good luck. I forgot to mention the 3 colors this guy has for the light up features. You already knew, but totally forgot that it has 3 colors. So, first up we have this purple that fades into a yellow. Pretty nice looking yellow too. Very, very bright. It's not really coming across well on the phone, but I mean, in pictures it looks a lot better. And press it again. Then you have deep, deep, nice green. Very, very good looking green. I love that. Oh, the green, the green. I think it honestly fits the Master Mold head the best out of all of them. I don't know why. I just think it does. And for the 3rd color, you have that into red, which works the best for this plain Sentinel, in my opinion. The red is very, very dark red, very beautiful looking red, and that honestly one of the best things ever about this figure. But also, be warned, epilepsy warning. If you have anything to do with epilepsy or have something with flashing lights or strobes, skip this part, because if you press and hold, it freaks the fuck out. And then the eyes go out, and it takes a while for the chest light to go out. But honestly, this light up feature is absolutely amazing. Love it to death. It is one of my favorite things about this figure. And the batteries are pretty easy to get in there. Just, disassembly a screw, blah, 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 blah. And notice how flickers. Notice how it flickers and then goes out. And I absolutely love it. It's easily one of the best things about this figure, in my opinion. Getting the regular head back on there, he does look absolutely amazing still. But for articulation, obviously, you can look up barely, down pretty well. I mean, he could technically look down on some mutants. Not a lot of tilt, although a lot of side to side from interchanging the heads a lot. Arm can go up about that far. Very, very nice, especially for this size. Down about that far. Full all the way around. Full 360 bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows only get to about 90 degrees, but what do you expect? He's huge. Wrist swivel, hinge, forward and back. And fingers, this is a biggie for me. Fingers are individually articulated. So thumb, hinge right here, and then you have a palm hinge that goes in and out. Then all knuckles, all of them. Diaphragm joint right here. Ab crunch, very nicely hidden too. I honestly didn't even realize that there was one. But he could go back combined about that far and forward combined about that far. And he can go side to side a little bit. Leg kick up about that far. Back about that far. Hip can kick that side. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. Foot can go down about that far. Up about that far. You can move this little bracer right here. and a little bit of pivot. Oh. So for comparison, here he is next to a couple Transformers Earthrise Optimus, and the Transformers Kingdom Deluxe Class Huffer, and obviously this guy towers over both of them. Optimus only comes up to the top of the first knee joint, and Huffer barely comes up to the mid-shin. Here he is next to a couple X-Men. Here he is next to the Warlock Build-A-Figure. I think it was Warlock. I can't remember. But Sunfire and the new Wolverine. Also, a review is up for him on the channel. If you want to go check that out, it's up. And just to accentuate how big this guy is, here he is next to the Transformers Siege Commander Class Jetfire and the also newly released Marvel Legends Surtur. Both of these guys are 13 to 14 inches tall, and as you can see, my Surtur has pretty loose ankles, but as you can see, Sentinel just towers over them both. It is absolutely insane. Jetfire a little less than Surtur. I'd say Surtur is a little smaller than Jetfire and Sentinel. By Sentinel, he is by a long shot, but Jetfire barely comes up to his hip, like mid-thigh, and to the top of his crown, also mid-thigh, so it is absolutely an insane comparison when comparing this guy to pretty much anything and everything else in your collection. Totally forgot to look at the up-close details, but even in the eyes you can see very, very nice sculpt right there. This is kind of a different material plastic, the tan faceplate, than everything else, like the magenta. It is a very sparkly plastic. I love that effect. Brace is painted. All those wires in there are painted as well. Chin, gray is a separate piece. On the side, yellow wire instead of red. And you have that classic kind of square look for the crown. Down, nuts and bolts right here to screw in this. Again, a different texture piece for the top neck brace. For the actual neck sculpt, it is very machine-like with some human attributes. In there you can see a little bit of a gunmetal gray rim right there, kind of like a joint. That shoulder pad, again with that kind of texture leading back to right here on the end. Nice gunmetal gray right there for that bolt. It is a rubbery material, so it's not too bad, and it does weigh itself down enough to where if you keep the arm up for a while, it will just sag back down. But it is nice wire detail all up in there. An arrow pointing right there. Nice center circle detail, obviously lights up. Very, very nice feature, kind of like an arc reactor, I guess. Then you have red right for the armpit under there, gunmetal right there. This is an overlay on a regular plastic piece. You can see that kind of more right there. These are two different materials. This is kind of more squishy, but then the underneath is more of a harder plastic. And then coming down here, more of that purple, yellow, blue, changing up from the yellow and red on each side. Nice kind of ab section right there. Arms have these kind of bracers, pinch point kind of arrows right there with a nice kind of grid texture right there. Looks like a real machine, more gunmetal right in there. Separate pieces to hide the joints, which actually really works out. Then you have these kind of grates right here that gets out of the way for articulation pretty well. Then you have these kind of vents right here, more vents. There's a lot of vent looking things on this guy. You have the nut right there, or the bolt right there. Nut. You have nice lines all up and down, an arrow kind of leading back to right here, and right here, and right here. There's a lot of those. It's pretty cool looking detail. Then coming down to the hands, you have that, which I totally skipped over. Actually, no. No, I didn't. Never mind. I'm filming this out of order, so it's confusing. Very, very nice. You have kind of those blaster-looking fingertips right in there, and on the thumb, same thing. Nice red, kind of giving off a pulsating effect, I guess. Crotch piece. It's a pliable plastic, as you saw in the articulation segments. Then for the legs, getting the arms out of the way. But for the legs, you can see more of that wiring detail, kind of like the shoulders up at the hips. Yellow right in there, and blue right up in there. It's very, very, very nice looking color scheme all the way around. I thought there was red in the hips, but I guess I don't think so. I guess there's more yellow right in there too by the blue. And then you have more of that vent area. This is again a different piece, like the forearms, softer piece over a harder piece of plastic. And I have more of those arrows, more vents, a lot of bolts, a lot of vents. Those covers for the articulation, and more vents down to the foot, where even on the bottom you can see kind of that pulsating effect where the flyers, I guess, would come out. And there's a lot of detail on the foot, a lot of very nice looking mechanical detail, like these pistons, I guess. And then on the side, more of that right there. Heel, gunmetal gray on the side of the foot. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of for detail besides the back of red, yellow, yellow and blue, and kind of like a spinal section, which I find very, very cool. Then the back thrusters, which hides the battery compartment. It's hard doing this with one hand. I'll show you guys after this, but more of those arrows on the back, more vents. Very, very beautiful detail all the way around on this beautiful, beautifully detailed action figure. Forgot to mention in articulation, the neck is a separate piece, but when I was swapping out the heads, you could probably see that, but it is a separate piece that swivels side to side down there. So if you want it to look nice when it turns the head and not have one of the eyes kind of go out, you do kind of have to move the head, which is harder. With the head on, you kind of have to take it off unless you're using the master mold head, but still, I digress. You have to take the head off and move the neck if you don't want that to happen. I mean, overall, for this absolutely eye-candy piece of an action figure, this looks absolutely amazing, and it definitely satisfies my itches for a 1/12 scale Sentinel. Even if I just have one, I wish I was able to get some, like 2 more or 3 more, but honestly, I don't know where I'd put them, and this guy already takes up enough real estate as is. I mean, for the size and stature you're getting for this guy, I'd say it's definitely worth the money. I mean, the light-up feature itself pays for it almost immediately, and then you add in the accessories. The tendrils with the bendy wire that can actually hold their own weight, the extra figures, Bastion, and the extra head for Bastion of the male Prime Sentinel, and then the lady Prime Sentinel, just absolutely make up for it. I spent, I think, $650, $700 on mine. Overpriced? Yes. Worth it? I'd have to say yes, because this thing rocks ass. And even though before I even got it, there were some paint scuffs like right there, but honestly, I don't really mind that. It more than makes up for it with the light-up features, the accessories, and the articulation on this guy. As a big fan of the 80s cartoon, or the 90s cartoon, the Master Mold head absolutely rocks ass. And easily, besides the regular head, it lights up the best, and I think has the best details too. I just absolutely love the articulation when you have it on, and I love the sense of scale when you have it on. And it makes him a lot taller too. As for the Tri-Sentinel head, I really don't know anything about the Tri-Sentinel other than that it's supposed to have 6 arms. But I will say I really do dig the gunmetal gray on its face. And the more bolty texture right here. And turning the head is pretty cool. You get all kind of 3 different personalities. It's like animated Blitzwing transforms animated Blitzwing. It's very, very nice looking. I love it, and I saw some very creative shots from X-Manny of the the Tri-Sentinel, which I absolutely love. Go check those out. I think they're on his Instagram, but still, great addition to the figure, and I love it even more now. As for the battle damaged accessories, this is easily taking the cake. I love the sculpt, I love the paint apps, and above all, this is really what sealed the deal for me when I saw the initial Haslab project go up, was the battle damaged head and the hand. I think the hand is a very nice detail, but the head has just all these paint apps, and even around the back of the head, it has dents and cracks and rips in it, and I absolutely love the attention to detail that they made with this figure. And especially the paint. I think the paint on this guy absolutely rocks. The metallic and the gunmetals and all of that mixed in. It just makes for an absolutely beautiful, beautiful piece. And overall, as a set, I'm going to have to give this guy an absolute 11 out of 10. Not only is this my favorite figure of this year, but it is easily one of my favorite figures, if not my favorite figure ever. Just the attention to detail, the absolute amazing articulation. The only bad thing is, I will say, I don't know where to put him, and he takes up a lot of space. Well, I have him on my shelf, yes, but he takes up a lot of space. I will say that. And honestly, you're really not going to play with this guy that much. Maybe Bastion and the female Prime Sentinel, but the Sentinel itself, you're not going to mess around with it as much as you would your average Marvel Legend. But, I mean, for the size, for the heft, I think this guy's like 22 pounds. And it's so worth it, in my opinion. If you guys can, for a decent price, I'd say get him immediately. Immediately, because, honestly, he's absolutely amazing for your X-Men, especially for an X-Men fan like me. But thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. That is insane to think about. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like. If you enjoy my content, subscribe. If you want to see more, subscribe. And yeah, see you guys later. Thank you again. Bye-bye.